the beautiful part about pizza is when I'm out, like for example, we were in New York City for last July. We spent a few days there. I had pizza lunch and dinner from like every pizza joint because that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Like everyone makes it different, and I enjoy other people's pizza.
Yeah,
and
it's a different recipe.
Yeah, it's a different recipe.
Welcome back to the Lead Lamp Podcast. This week we have Vinny from Amici's Pizza, right here in Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill now.
That's correct.
First of all, before we get your story, I just want to say you opened the Hartsdale Drive location a little over a month ago, I think.
It's been about like 7 weeks now, I think.
Yeah. And since then, my pizza intake has dramatically increased because every Friday we seem to go there after our meetings. We're like, well, we got to get lunch, and then we all just go to Amici's down there. But I am a big pizza. Like that's my number one food, which it's an easy food to say is your favorite food, but I could truly eat pizza. Like I don't get tired of pizza.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you.
Well, I hope you don't because you make great pizza. Yes. But I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. I know you have a new location, which we will talk about the opening of that. But let's give us like a background of yourself first. I know before we started the show, you said you're not originally from Central PA. So kind of talk about how you got your origins in the pizza industry. Yeah.
So I was born in Sicily, in a small town called Carini, which is in the province of Palermo. And I came to the United States when I was 6 years old. Parents brought me here for a better future. And it's funny. Dad was in construction. He was a mechanic.
Doing everything he could, yeah.
And comes to the United States and gets involved in pizza.
Okay.
So I got reeled in making pizzas.
Was that around here?
That was originally it was in the Lancaster area where we moved, in Marietta.
Okay, that's not far from here.
Yeah, we lived with my aunt and uncle. And till we got ourselves established in the States. And then we moved to a small town called Loganville. And it's south of York.
Yeah.
We were there till about 2002. Dad had a pizzeria, I think it was in Glen Rock.
Okay.
And that was maybe like 99.
Okay.
I think. And it was Mama Nina's, if I recall correctly. And he was there for like, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. And then it just didn't work out for him. So he moved on and was working elsewhere with others at another pizza place.
Right.
And just to keep it in the pizza business. So he did that. And in, I think, 2000, like right after 9/11, 2001, we moved to the Mechanicsburg area.
Okay.
And then Dad got involved into another pizza place, but it was in Lebanon.
Okay.
And it was Vinny's Pizza. And he opened that in 2002. After that, so lived in Mechanicsburg.
Traveling
to Lebanon, worked all day, traveling back. He and my sister did that with my mom. And I was still in school at the time.
Were you in Mechanicsburg or were you at CV?
I was in CV. Yeah, Cumberland Valley.
I was a Mechanicsburg kid, so
a
little bit of a rivalry.
All right.
There.
That's all right. We'll let it slide.
Yeah, there's no hard feelings now.
No, absolutely not.
Back then in sports, though, it's a different story.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But so we had my dad had that place for a while, from 2002 to about 2008. Then the recession happened. Things were starting to get a little rocky over there. But we got involved with what is now known as Amici's Pizza on the Carlisle Pike after leaving Lebanon.
Okay.
So that was exact date, November 24th, 2008. That's when Amici Pizza came to...
That's when you opened that location?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. By that time, I was already involved in the pizzeria. I had stopped going to school, and I was working at the Lebanon store for a little while. I think I was like oh my gosh, 17, maybe 16.
Okay.
So by the time we got to the Mechanicsburg store at Amici Pizza, I think I was 18.
Okay.
And that's like when the true history like started, you know, because I was involved, and I would go in as a kid making boxes, learning to make the dough.
You're a teenager, so you're just like doing whatever they needed you to do.
Yes, and learning to make the sauce and whatnot, and shredding mozzarella, chopping mushrooms, slicing tomatoes.
Yeah,
I mean everything, and that's. But by the time we opened up the Mechanicsburg store, it ended up being me, my sister, my mom, and my dad.
Okay.
So,
and then before we get too far into it, how did you guys come up with the name
Amici?
Yeah.
Okay, so Amici was already established.
Guys entered.
It was established for, I think, a few months.
Okay.
It was, so the store was sold to us by the Failla family.
Okay.
And they own Patriots Pizza now in New Cumberland. Yeah, New Cumberland.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you picked up an established store.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was freshly established. So Amici Pizza was Peppino's Pizza.
Oh yeah.
For the longest time.
I remember Peppino's. Yeah.
So it was Peppino's. Then the Failla family bought it, and they had it for a short bit. I think maybe 6 months.
Okay.
And then they turned it into Amici, and after that, we came in, I think it was like July, I think. Okay. July of 2008. They turned it into Amici's, and then by November, that's when we came in.
Gotcha.
Dad bought everything, and we took over.
Nice.
And built it to the Amici we know today.
Right.
Because it was a fresh name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's a heck of a shop. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember at the time, my dad considered changing the name again, but it went from Peppino's to Amici, and if we did a third name change, then we don't want to confuse people. Yeah, and it's like, hey, what the heck is going on over here and whatnot. So,
and you also kind of lose some trust when it's kind of like, if there's anyone that has a furniture store, I apologize, but you don't want to see the furniture store name change. You ever seen that where it's like,
oh yeah,
hey, this month it's this one, and this month it's another furniture store.
And there's a furniture store in our center that's been like that.
Yeah, and after a while you're like, what's going on?
Like, hey, yeah.
But you have you get some brand confusion, and you get a little bit of like,
sure.
I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
So all right, so you guys swoop in. Now we
swooped in, and we took over, and we started implementing our recipes, our sauce, our cheese, our dough, and we build it to the business it is today. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. It took time.
None of them do. Yeah, you see it today, and you're like, wow, you got 2 locations.
Yeah,
great food.
Yeah,
you have awesome. I know the crew that works over at the other one.
Oh my gosh, they're great.
They crack us up every time we go in there, and great hospitality too. Like, they're just awesome. Awesome crew, but that takes time to
for sure
to get
for sure. Yeah, and we're people, right? We like conversating with our customers and people that walk in. We try to create relationships and maintain
get
that.
To know your community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you guys do a lot of you support a lot of community things too.
Yes, we like to host fundraisers. We do dine to donate nights, so we'll get like a sports team or a church or a special event, a special charity.
PTO, things
correct.
Like
what whoever's trying to raise money for a certain something, we'll organize that, and we'll do a dine to donate night.
Nice.
We'll promote it on our Facebook page, and we'll create an event, and then we'll pick a night. People come from 4 to 8. They'll eat in at the store. They'll take out, and then we'll donate 10% of the sales that night back to that
that organization.
Correct. Yep. Yep. Whatever it may be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I think Tara was talking to you before we started. Like, I know we've done a couple things with you, even as far as just community stuff. And you're obviously you know our CEO.
Yeah.
After we were talking for a little bit. Yes. But we love businesses that are involved like that.
So and we try to stay, we would be nothing without the community.
Yeah.
We would, and that's the reality of it.
And it's it's also probably difficult. And we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but
Sure.
like you have to find ways as a business owner, especially for a pizza shop, that you can differentiate yourself from the other pizza shops.
Absolutely.
Because there's definitely, there's no shortage.
Yeah, there's a pizza place in every quarter, man.
But, you want to be the one that people remember.
Absolutely.
No matter where you're located, it's more about like, is it a good pie?
Yeah.
Do I like the people there? And then like, oh, they're top of mind because I just remember doing my kids' baseball team fundraiser with them, and they're great people, and they're friendly when you come in there. So it's not just like one thing that makes your pizza shop successful.
Yep.
You could have the best pizza in the world, but if people don't remember your name, or they don't see you doing things, or you're not friendly, and then it doesn't really matter.
I do my best to stay top of mind.
Yeah.
Whether it's with the fundraisers or advertising or menu mail outs and whatnot. I try to remind people, hey, Amici Pizza is here.
Yeah.
And over the years, the Carlisle Pike has grown significantly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you've been here for long enough to know.
Oh yeah.
Even where, I don't know, when did you say you moved to Mechanicsburg? Like
2001.
Yeah. Okay. So like where the Coles is.
Yes.
And the Wegmans.
Yeah. That used to be a speedway.
It was a racetrack.
Yes.
And then from there to Walmart was just woods. This is a forest basically.
Yeah,
and then like that whole strip right there was fields and forests. And like I've been in the area long enough to know the Carlisle Pike is
double up. It's so much bigger.
Well, every year it's like another section gets added on.
Yes, yes. And now they're building the BJ's shopping center across the road from our store.
Hopefully that brings in some more foot traffic.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
That'll be good. So let's get into like the business
of
making pizza. That's what's interesting to me. So like I said, I love pizza. I don't know if any person doesn't, and I don't really want to talk to someone that doesn't like pizza, but there's more to it. So like there's costs associated with making that you have to monitor that are more, I'm sure they fluctuate more than people realize.
That can be the case,
And then, so you have that side of it that make sure you're selling a pie that people A, can afford.
Yes.
And B, that you can make money on. And the other part of it is making something that's unique, that's different. So obviously every pizza shop probably has their own little thing they try to do that makes it their recipe. And you're limited with a number of ingredients to make it your own recipe.
Yes.
So kind of walk us through those two things. So one is like, you can't have a $50 pie in this area.
No.
New York might be a different story.
Maybe New York, yes.
Here you have to have something that's price conscious, but is also, going to keep you in business.
Of course.
But then also that people like.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of work through that?
I mean, I have a good relationship with our food distributor. Okay. We use Cisco Foods, and they always take good care of us. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially when prices are ramping up, or some sort of something happened in the world, and
now all of a sudden flour's up, or your sauce is going up because of something happened.
Correct. I mean, we try to monitor that, but when something does go up exponentially, the pizza price we keep the same. Mm-hmm. If flour goes up or cheese is going up, we'll eat the cost on it. Now, I mean, of course, we'll draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
If it's. But
you're also buying in bulk.
Correct.
So it's like, it's only going to probably affect each pizza a few cents here and there. It's not like it doesn't go up by 25% in price, and then all the ingredients in the pizza also go up by 25%.
That's correct. Yes. So, I mean, for us, we use Stanislaw tomatoes, and we use Dad's pizza sauce recipe to make it. So
that's a secret.
That's a secret.
Yeah. So can you talk about what's special about the tomatoes?
They're grown in California. Okay. Their acidity level isn't ridiculous. Okay. Like, I mean, they hold a good product. They're a good name. Mm-hmm. So on occasion we'll have different distributors try to stop by. It's like, hey, try our tomatoes. It's like, I'm sure your product is great, and not that I'm knocking on it, but you gotta
be loyal to it. Yeah.
Yes, and especially over the years, we've prided ourselves in consistency.
Yeah.
You know, you go to McDonald's or Burger King or, you know, or all these fast food chains, or not just fast food, but like all the major chains, right? It's like you go here and you go here, you're getting the same product.
Right. You expect it to taste a certain way when you get it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what we've maintained over the years. And that is also what we plan and are not just planning, but that's what we're doing with our second location too. We want to grow the business, but we want to be consistent with our food product, with what we're putting out.
Well, unfortunately, your second location isn't so far away also that you lose connection with the quality of it. Now, I know you also have family in there too.
Yes.
So there's more of a trust.
And I've had people ask me, it's like, hey, is it still like, is it just as good? You know, people that come to the Mechanicsburg store for the camp, I was like, it's the same. It's identical. And you know what? OG dad's there. So it's like, it's going to be.
He's your quality control.
Yes. Like I promise you, you know, it's going to be the same thing you're getting here in Mechanicsburg and in Camp Hill.
Nice.
And with the Camp Hill store, you know, it's geographically, it's close to where we're currently at off the Carlisle Pike. But you know, there's a bit of distance, especially with traffic and whatnot.
Different neighborhoods. So you're not, you know, you're gonna pick up people that are not going to the Carlisle Pike for dinner because they're over here in the Des Moines area or Camp Hill.
Yeah. And I can't tell you the amount of people that have been coming in saying, hey, oh my gosh, you're so much closer to home, or oh my gosh, we get to avoid the Carlisle Pike traffic.
If you're over here, that's a heck of a drive. Like if I'm living in a neighborhood up the hill from here, you know, up Slate Hill. I don't want to have to go. It's 5 o'clock. I want to get dinner.
And that's the worst time to travel. And it's like, you know what? You can just travel right down the road and you don't have to cut through town or go to the Pike or deal with that traffic or the lights. And I know the Pike can be.
It's not getting any less busy. I know that.
No. But thankfully for the Mechanicsburg store, people like us enough that they still make the trip on a Friday night. And, you know, we're still.
That's good.
You know, rocking hard there.
That's good.
So. But yeah.
So back to like not just the business of pricing and creating the pies or the recipe, but like, so this is probably a little bit more heated in like the pizza world. But like what goes into making, in your opinion, like what makes a good what's a good pizza?
I mean,
we don't have to do toppings, but just like
good pizza. So in a sense of like,
is it the dough, the way you prepare that, or is it
the crust? Yeah. I mean, you know, preparing the dough, making sure it proofs in an appropriate amount of time, and you're not just making it and then just, you know, stretching out a pizza
and then throwing it straight in.
You know, making sure it sits for a little, it settles, and allow the proofing process to take place. The sauce is what does it, man.
So that's the key.
The key is sauce.
All right.
Man. The key is sauce. Anybody can make a pizza, right?
Yeah.
And but that's the beautiful thing about pizza, right? You come to Amici's and you know you're getting what you're getting, and you love it for that, you know. But I mean, there's other pizzerias that have their own spin or their own twist. I mean, because if we're all making the same pizza, then there's no business.
Yeah, you might as well all just go buy a DiGiorno. Like that's what it becomes. Yeah.
Of course, you know. The beautiful part about pizza is. When I'm out, like for example, we were in New York City for last July. We spent a few days there. I had pizza lunch and dinner from like every pizza joint, because that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Like everyone makes it different, and I enjoy other people's pizza. Yeah, you know, and
it's a different recipe.
Yeah, it's a different recipe.
Plus, is it hard to have a really good pie or a really good slice of pizza when you go to New York or something and you're like, well, we should change and we should try this? Or do you just like, no.
No.
Okay.
So I won't.
You don't let it influence.
And that's where the consistency comes from. You know, we have our set process. You know, we make our dough. Now I'll create like, you know, if there's like a special topping or like. Most recently, I added the Vinny Special Crust, which is like a thinner version of what we typically do. Yeah. And
we love it. That's
extra well done. Well done, you know? So crispy. It's thin, very crispy. And it's the same sauce, same dough, but it's just cooked a little different, a little longer, but it alters the taste a little bit.
I love that one. That's what I get when I go over to the Hartsdale Drive.
And it's great. And a part of that, so that's how I've always enjoyed my pizza. But I won't say a lot of people, but some people just like a traditional, like slightly softer or, not as crisp. And that's the pizza we've been making over the years. But on occasion I'll have someone that say, hey, can you make it thinner? Can you make it well done? It's like, dude, that's how I get it. Like, that's how, yes, absolutely.
If you're going to make your own.
I get excited, because some people like a light pizza. I like it extra crisp, like well done, crunchy. Like that's the way I enjoy it.
I'm the same way.
And, but oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's okay. We were talking about like different styles of pizza, what goes into it, but
but as far as like being influenced, like I like trying other people's stuff, but I will never change our sauce recipe. I will never change our dough recipe, and
you have it established, so you don't really have to.
Correct.
I'm sure if I was, I'm not, but if I was interested in going into the pizza business, like. It's easy for a newer shop that doesn't really have
an established. Yes, because they can play. They can play around with it. They can see what people are liking. And then go based off of that. If I were to change anything right now, forget about it. People.
Oh, they would lose it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What happened to Amici's? You start seeing those reviews online. It's like not what it used to be. It's like, we hold a good reputation, and we like consistency.
Okay.
I want you to be able to come today, and the pizza's the same way it was, 2 weeks ago, and the same way it was
a few years ago.
A few years. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that's tough as a brand to realize and stick to what you want and what like it could be working, but there's a lot of brands, even restaurants, that they have a hard time finding that identity, sticking to it. So that's awesome. You've been able to do it for so long.
Because, and I get people want to try, like sometimes like I'll come across like, I don't know, maybe like a different style pepperoni. Yeah. Right. I tried these, do you know the cupping pepperonis?
Oh yeah. When they cook,
they're like a little thicker and they get like crisp on the edges. I tried that pepperoni. I think at first I tried it as I just substituted it.
Okay.
People lost their mind.
Oh, not in a good way.
Oh, dude, I was like, oh gosh, I made a mistake. Like, let me take
the
this
reviews.
Back. Yes, and I thought it was a good idea. It's like, you're getting like a thicker pepperoni, like it's meatier, and it just
they weren't fans.
No. Huh. So then I was like, okay, this is what I'll do. I will give the option of my traditional pepperoni and the cupping pepperoni, right? And then people just weren't ordering the cupping pepperoni. I was like, have I lost my touch? Like, I thought this was such a good pepperoni. Like, it was so good. But I think it was one of those things that's like, I liked it.
Yeah.
But just because I like it doesn't mean
you're not your customer.
Yes. Yeah. So we're here to, like, I'm here to make our people happy. So ultimately, I kept that cupping pepperoni as an addition. So like you can order one or the other.
Yeah.
My traditional pepperoni won. I stopped serving it. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna.
You let your customer.
I'm not gonna hold a pepperoni that like ends up going bad on me. I gotta toss it. You know, it's like I can't. So I just.
Well, and that's kind of the cool thing about the food industry, especially. There's different. Obviously, food industry is a wide term to use, but like a smaller local business, you're running your own show. That's the cool thing about being in the kitchen is you can just. I'm sure you do it all the time too, where you can experiment with stuff and you realize, maybe I have something here. Yeah. Or like, I'm never making that again. Like, I'm sure you have times where you're like, let's just try this, see what it's like.
Yep.
Even for sandwiches and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just pizza at your shop. And you have other.
Of course. Awesome yep. We have salads. We have wings. We have hot and cold subs, strombolis. But I mean, to what you're saying is like, on occasion, I'll make myself something different. And I'll post it on our Facebook page. It's like I was doing like, what's Vinny having for lunch today?
Oh, nice.
And I was posting that, and that was kind of fun. And then sometimes it's hard though to keep up with the social media. Being as busy as we are. But I'll create like a different sandwich and I'll take a picture of it and then chances are somebody might try it that night, and that's how I kind of created the Vinny Special Sub, which is like a pizza burger sub, but I grill pepperonis and then I put it on top of the mozzarella.
Oh yeah,
and then I bake the whole sub in the oven so those pepperonis get real crisp, and I just love it, Or I also have a Logan Burger sub.
Okay.
My buddy Logan, he used to own so right next door to our shop is now Mathnasium.
Oh yeah.
It used to be Fever Gaming.
Okay.
And a little fun fact, before Fever Gaming, it used to be part of Amici's.
Okay.
We used to have a massive dining room over there, but
the one over on the Pike.
On the Pike, yep. But so Fever Gaming was there. My buddy Logan owned it. And he would come in for lunch, and he's like, Vinny, can you like make something special for me? I was like, yeah, like, what do you need? He's like, can you make me a bacon cheeseburger, put mayo, jalapenos, throw some fries on it, a little hot sauce, lettuce, and onion. I was like, I got you. I made that for him. And then I thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
Couple days later, he's like, dude, that sub was awesome. Can you make it for me again? I was like, sure. I made it for him again. And that day I was like, man, like that does look so good.
Yeah, there's something to this.
Yeah. So I made it for myself. And I kid you not, like my very next menu print, I had a Logan Burger sub on the menu. And it's been since 2017, I think it's been on the menu.
Okay.
And it sells hard. Like mayo, jalapenos, burger, American cheese, bacon, fries, hot sauce, lettuce, onion.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's a filling sub, but it is so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not as spicy as you think. Like, it's not like people hear.
You can taste it too. It's not just heat.
Yeah, people hear jalapeno and hot sauce and they think it's like, oh no, it's going to be like fire.
Right.
But it's not. It's like it's a good blend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the sub breads you have. So like this past Friday,
yes,
I went over and I got the cheesesteak.
Yep.
Over at the Hartsdale one. Are you guys making your sub breads too?
That's right.
Because that's we
make our sub rolls every day for lunch and dinner.
Okay. You can tell when a place does that too, because it is like that makes or breaks.
Yeah, for sure. And we've always made our own bread, and to my adding on to trying things out as the business was growing, I added a oh my gosh, I think it was Amoroso bread. Okay. It was a Philly style bread, and we added that on, and we weren't substituting; we were just doing into addition of.
Okay.
It didn't sell. People would just go to our bread. So I was like, all right, well, I'm ordering all these Philly rolls for no reason. So we just,
you let your customers,
but we tried it,
yeah.
And this was years ago at the time.
I think it's cool that you don't just pull a menu item and replace it. You kind of have, you kind of like throw it out there and see what your customers think about it versus just like pulling the rug out from under their feet and giving them a new one without a choice.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, we also have brioche buns that we get.
Okay.
And I use those for my burgers or some sandwiches.
Okay.
And but those are still on the menu. Mm-hmm. However, a lot of people that order my sandwiches says, "Hey, can you just make it on half of your sub roll?" I was like, "Absolutely." Yeah. So we still do that.
You're not going to break your heart if you ask someone to use something that you make.
Exactly.
Nice.
So
nice. So what's something about owning and operating, a pizza shop or a pizza and sub shop or sandwich? Mm-hmm. You kind of have everything there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, what's something that's a little bit surprising that like I might not know? I'm like, oh, well, they make great pizza. They got an awesome place, but on the back end of running a business, that people just don't realize, like, man, it is difficult to get that nailed down or to do this, and it might be different
as far as food product, you mean, or
like the business side?
The business side of things. I mean, the hardest part is the time.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of time that goes into being in business, and I mean, like, mornings till night, working 12, 13-hour days, like nonstop, like not just for a couple weeks, but like literally years on end. Like I've been in that pizzeria more than I've been in my own home. Like that's the struggle to try to overcome. And it's like, it becomes acceptance because you fall in love with the business. If you don't love what you're doing, you're going to have a bad time. So I like being at the store. I like being able to throw on some music and prep. And I'm okay with the time that I put into it, you know, but the amount of sacrifices that come with, like, you have to schedule everything around the business, weddings, birthdays, vacations, like everything has to be scheduled around the business. I've missed out on friends, you know, special occasions because of the business. And that's the tough part. Yeah. And some people don't understand it. Some do. And unless you're really into it, you might not understand it. Like, you might not, you know, get it. Yeah. And especially because when there's bills to be paid, that doesn't stop. The amount of money you have to fork up front and to be able to maintain a positive cash flow to pay bills sometimes, you know. Luckily, we're past that.
It's that front-loaded, that's the heavy lift. Yeah.
You know, most businesses don't survive the first few years. We didn't start making any money. And I mean any money till like 6 years ago. Yeah. We've been there 17 years.
It takes like, a long time, yeah.
People have trouble grasping that. Like, and I mean, I'm talking like no vacations, no fun time, no, you know, no true splurging of like, you know, money or anything like that. It's like business, business, business. Make sure gas is paid, electric is paid. You know, the sewer and trash is done.
Right.
You know,
all your essentials have
because you have your store costs, then your house costs, and you know, and then if there's anything left over after that, then sure, you know. But that took years. Yeah, years. I mean,
when you start, you have to get. I mean, you took over a store that was already built basically initially, but you still have. When you start up, like when you started the Hartsdale Drive location, you got to buy equipment, which like that stuff is not cheap.
Yes.
You know, all your equipment, your lease space, you have to remodel it how you want.
Of course.
You have to have cash to do that, or you got to go borrow it, which means you got to pay the piper and get that loan paid off, or whatever it is that you're using as funding. Yeah. And you know, restaurant equipment does not come cheap. Even if you're getting good used stuff, it's not cheap.
It doesn't.
So I mean, there is a large capital expense.
Of course.
And like you said, your time investment is huge too.
Yes.
You can buy all the stuff you need. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You have to put the work into it as well.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I officially took over from my dad in 2017.
Okay.
And we were this close from just calling it quits, like this close. And, you know, most people don't know this story. Yeah. But, you know, things were rocky, you know, falling behind on stuff, you know, on falling behind on finances, you know, it takes a toll on your mental stress, you know, and when especially at the time, it's like when you're struggling to keep the business alive, and trying to maintain, you know, a happy space within the family, within the store, you know, and then trying to keep a smile up front for the customer. Yeah, you know,
it's tough, and family businesses are hard too, because when you go home or you're doing a birthday party or whatever later, like you see them again, and you just left work. Yeah, and you have to find a way to like. kind of power through that.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I mean, the family stuck through, thick and thin. And like I said, all like the financial stuff for the business, thankfully and hopefully, will remain in the past.
Yeah. I think that's a story that you'd be shocked to learn about a lot of small businesses. Like customers see it from the storefront and they see the product and they're like, this is a great business. Yeah. But I feel like more small businesses have a similar story to that than you would believe.
Oh, yeah.
From the street, like just from driving by it, you wouldn't realize what people are putting into it emotionally and physically and cash wise.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and it came down that, I had a conversation with my dad. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, how are we going to get more people in here? Like, we get compliments on the food. People that do come here seem happy, to shop with us and try our food. So it's like, the struggle was, how do we grow, right? So
you need foot traffic. Yeah,
we need foot traffic, and luckily, I started building our Facebook page. And I think that's where things really took a turn, because it's like we need more advertisement, but we're struggling with money, right? So how do we add? Like how do we send out advertisement? How do we let people know that we're here? So I think in 2017 is when I really took Facebook serious. And I started posting like all the time. Yeah. I make a pizza, here's an upload. And people started seeing it and sharing it. And, now I've got like, I think 13,000 followers on Facebook. And they're all like local people.
Yeah. Well, and what's amazing about that platform in particular is like, you're dealing with a shoestring budget.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter because if you're doing good content organically on social media, you don't have to spend, especially for a shop like yours, you don't have to spend $10,000 a month on marketing.
Correct. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to learn this platform and we're going to get in front of people.
Yeah. So that's what I started doing. I started pushing Facebook like nonstop. And then it's like, I had $100 extra bucks. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try boosting this post. I've never done this before. And I boosted a post and I would grab like a 20, 30 mile radius and I would boost it in this area. And then I started seeing engagements on that. I was like, oh my gosh, like people are like responding. Like I'm getting excited, right? And then I get a call. It's like, hey, I just seen your ad on Facebook. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's working. Like people are responding to this.
Yeah.
And I believe that the social media presence that I started building is what ended up saving us.
Well, and if that's when you saw a turning point, then and that was right around the same time, I think you can plant your flag in that victory and say like, this was a big turning point.
Yeah.
Now I have this brought up when you said you placed an ad or you did a boosted post.
Yeah.
And you noticed a couple calls from it. I'm not going to ask, this question is not about that boosted post. But when you run an ad, so we do marketing. This is just, I'm just curious about this. For that industry, for your industry, if you run an ad and you pay whatever, you put a coupon in like the calendar things or whatever it is you're doing. Costs a couple $100, you get your name and number in there, maybe a little coupon.
Are we talking about mailers or
any ad?
Any ad. Okay.
If you're doing digital, if you're doing whatever it is. We track here like the customer's lifetime value. Do you have any numbers on like today if you spend I'm going to make up a number. It's probably wrong. $500, but you get an ad in a school football flyer. Like you're going to sponsor their program. But you put a little coupon in there for whatever, 2 pies for $19.99 or whatever it is. You know that when that coupon's used the first couple times, you're not going to make your money back on that.
No.
But the lifetime value of that customer, once they know about your brand, like, do you know what, I don't know, maybe you don't know stats on this. Maybe you do. It'd be awesome if you did. But like the stats on return customers in a pizza shop, like the lifetime value.
The lifetime.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I could answer that off the top of my head.
If you could find a way to track that, that'd be really cool.
We have a lot of repeat customers, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not. I don't think I would know that off the top of my head.
It'd be cool if you could find a way to learn, like, okay, well, I got so and so, customer XYZ from this thing I did.
So what we do is, if there's ever like any physical like advertisements we do, like the Clipper magazine or Mail Shark, or a booklet for the school.
They're bringing something back into
yeah. So I have a little cup, and anytime somebody brings that in, I put it in a little cup, and then like the end of the week or like the end of a couple of weeks, I'll look at the cup and I was like, oh look, like here's 10 from the Clipper, or 10 from Mail Shark, or 10s from Harrisburg's
wherever it came from.
Or whatever it may be, and I do look at that just out of curiosity.
And then you could say, I never got any back from this. Yeah,
I will say I'm to a point that I don't pay attention to it as much as I used to.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a small detail. Yeah. When you're trying to handle the big ship, like
if I do an ad somewhere and I post an ad. I'm confident people will start recognizing. Right. So we have our logo, and I want, McDonald's, like everybody knows the McDonald's ad, right? Like I'm hoping people will start recognizing,
get some
Amici
local
Pizza
brand recognition. Yeah.
And like with the new Hartsdale drive store, I had somebody come to the Mechanicsburg store and said, hey, like, I'm pretty sure I saw like Amici Pizza in Camp Hill. Is that you guys? I was like, yeah.
Well, now that you have the sign up.
It's I know. It took a little while to get the.
Those aren't easy to get up there either, so I understand.
A part of it was the upfront cost to get a sign.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, that's a big deal to get a storefront sign.
I mean, it's like we're already so heavily invested in the new space and buying everything that came with it. Yeah. That the sign is like, oh crap, it's like we need a sign.
It's one of those things where you're like, well, we can function without it.
Yes.
But I need, like, from the street there, that's a busy road. Like, I need to get a sign on that. I know. I have to.
I know. And I was so excited when we finally did have it up, because it's like we're positioned in a nice angle that, like, when people leave the Walmart across the street, they see, like, and it's bright and red. Yep. And people see Amici Pizza. And I'm hoping that over time people will start taking notice
than the banner was. But you've only been there a couple, 6-7 weeks. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So we'll.
I was just happy to see that you had the.
Yeah, the and it's funny. The guy that did the sign for us, he's become a wonderful friend, and he also makes my pizza boxes. Oh, nice. He owns a company called Pumped Up Events. They do balloons. Okay. But he also owns it's called Epic Box. Okay. And he's fairly new, but they're trying to make awesome pizza boxes that stand out.
Like, and custom printed boxes.
Custom printed boxes. My Camp Hill store doesn't have them yet. Okay. They will soon. But if you've come to Mechanicsburg store, you've definitely seen them. Okay. But they definitely stand out from, like, any
generic pizza box.
Oh my gosh. Like any pizza box I feel like they look really good.
I feel like there's not yours. Yeah. Not this, but I feel like when you go to a pizza, like a local pizza shop, more often than not, it's like, I've seen this box. I got a pizza in New Jersey too. And when I went to Virginia, like, there must be like the
generic box. It's usually a guy with a mustache,
green and red,
like this, or like,
but so you're setting yourself apart too.
It's part of the branding. It's branding Amici Pizza. Yeah.
It's like any of the other, which we won't name those stores, but like the chain pizza places, they have the box. And when you see someone carrying it, you're like, I know where they got that pizza from. Yep. So that's smart to do that on a local level, because you're setting yourself apart. And
they're like fully colored boxes too. They're not like just like white with a red stamp, or like they really stand out.
You can print anything on it probably.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. They look fantastic. But the reason I bring all of this up is he's the one that he was able to save me so much money. My original quote from a different company was just way out of budget. Yeah. And I know he gets involved with you know, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Chris, I need a sign bad. Like, can you help me out? Like, do you know anybody? He's like, let me do some research. Dude, he saved me thousands.
Nice.
Thousands.
Yeah. Well, and those background signs are not.
And
they're
he's
not
like, look, we got the plan. We ordered the sign. He's like, I'll have it installed for you. Like, he's like, I'll do the installation. I was like, dude, you're heaven sent. Like, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes over and he installs, and he starts to install the sign. It was a windy day. The day was just crappy, and he's never really installed the sign. I think if I recall correctly, I don't think he's ever really installed a sign like this before. But he did a great job.
Yeah.
But it was a crappy day. It was windy, and he got pizza up. He's like, Vin, I'm sorry. He's like, I got to come back in a couple days. I go outside. I was like, dude, people will get the gist. It says pizza. They know there's a pizza joint here. Good enough right now. Like, thank you so much.
It'll do.
And then, he came by a couple days later and wrapped it up for us.
I mean, whichever word he put up wouldn't have been bad because it would have either been the brand or pizza. So
you're right about that. You're very
lost
right
on
about that.
And he saved you some cash. So
he saves us some cash.
Yeah.
And dude, he. Oh my gosh, I can't thank this guy enough, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He fronted like the money to like get us the sign.
Mm-hmm.
And like, now, thankfully now we're all paid up and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do what he did.
Well, he knows too, from another local business standpoint, like these are good guys. I'm going to do the right thing for them. But then at the same time, when you need something else from them, you're going to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
So he knew like it's a good thing to do in small bit, like in a community like this. Like,
I mean, that because that sticks with people.
Yeah. We've done stuff too when you're working with someone and you're like, don't worry about it. This time we'll take care of that. And it's the right thing to do because if you're doing the right thing, that customer is going to be grateful.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. And then they continue to do business with you or tell someone else about it.
Yeah.
So,
And so, I mean, it worked out great.
No, that's awesome.
Very happy with it.
Well, unless you have other things to cover, I was super excited to come on and talk about, pizza with you today, but we got into more.
Yeah.
Some marketing stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Again, people that are listening, you have a new location on Hartsdale Drive.
3401 Hartsdale Drive.
Yep.
Suite 121.
And in the existing location,
125 Gateway Drive in Mechanicsburg off the Carlisle Pike.
Yep. So there's 2 pizza shops now to go check out, and I will definitely be back again, probably this Friday again.
I love it.
No, thanks for coming on. Thank
you so much for having me, and I'm glad we did this.
Awesome.
This was cool.
Yeah.
This was cool.
Great.
So I appreciate you guys so much.
Looking forward to watching you continue to grow.
That's the plan.
All right.
That's the plan.